if we delay Social Security to 70, it doesn't mean you're getting less money. It just means that you're getting money from a different source.
Absolutely. So yeah, those early retirement years, age 65, 66,
Right.
you're not going to have that Social Security income. So you're going to see bigger portfolio withdrawals. And so sometimes clients kind of panic when they see those first 2 years of that cash flow deficit that they need from their portfolio. But we make sure we highlight that and show them like, hey, that's okay. It's a really big number, but that's all in the plan.
Welcome to a Wiser Retirement Podcast, where we believe the best financial advice should always be conflict-free. I'm your host, Casey Smith, guiding you to financial freedom. Today is my co-host, Missie Beach, the world's best financial planner. Hey, Missie.
Hey, Casey. How are you doing?
Doing good. Today, we're going to be talking about when to claim Social Security, even if you don't need it.
Not everyone needs it.
Not everyone. No, a lot of our clients probably don't need it.
No.
But and we'll talk about some other angles too with Social Security. It sounds like a boring topic, but it actually is a very important decision in your retirement planning. And it's something that you probably should be thinking about, a few years prior to retirement.
Exactly.
And you can change your mind at any point, because any day after 62, you can file for Social Security.
Absolutely.
It's
not set in stone.
You can make it a daily decision if you really want to focus on it that much. I think the biggest takeaway here is it kind of goes back to who you're getting advice from. I've always said that the best financial planners encourage their clients to delay Social Security, encourage them to pay off debt, and encourage them to be charitable.
I had a client that just sent me a Wall Street Journal article, or maybe it wasn't the journal, but sent me an article that he had just completed their delivery meeting. And he's like, Missy, I just want you to know that I just read an article saying that good financial advisors tell you to do all those things that Wiser just told us to do.
Right. It's a kind of an adage that's been around for a little while now, but the idea is that all of those things hurt the financial advisor, because most financial advisory firms, we have two different business models, but most financial advisory firms only make money by managing assets. Mm-hmm. And therefore, if you're delaying Social Security, you're taking more of your own assets initially. That hurts them. Yep. If you pay off debt, that's usually pulling money out of a portfolio or a savings account that otherwise could have gone to them. That hurts them. And if you give money away, that hurts them. And so a lot of financial advisors will say things like, well, don't pay off your home because your interest rate's really low and we can make more money in the market. Mm-hmm. And on paper, sometimes that actually is correct, but that's not why it's there. It's there to reduce the withdrawals from the firm. And they're just reciting what the corporate Kool-Aid says by default.
Exactly.
Now, there is math that says if you had money in an IRA and you're going to pay off your house, that you have to pay a lot of income tax. If you owed $200,000, you paid it off all at once, you would pay a one-time higher fee. You could get hit with IRMA or something like that on your Medicare.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to think about, but just saying that as a blanket statement doesn't really make sense. You could always have a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year pay down target to stay below the IRMA rates and then stay within the same tax bracket. Absolutely. So there's lots of different strategies to eliminating debt, but I digress on that. The point is that by default, I say wait till 70. And then we can kind of dive into why you'd want to wait till 70. And there's other considerations. So let's talk about longevity. So if everyone in your family is living into their early to late 90s, then you probably want to delay Social Security.
Absolutely. But even if they're not, there's nothing to say that you won't, because the studies are coming out now that it's not necessarily your ancestors or your, route. Yeah. Because modern medicine, different lifestyles, living, eating, breathing, the healthy lifestyle can change your path. So I have clients all day long are like, I'm not going to live to 95. Forget it. Sign me up for like 80 departure. And I'm like, that's not really a plan for retirement. We can't pick your end date.
Right.
So let's anchor on a long lifetime.
I usually tell them if they want to use a earlier time frame, they just have to be able to cook and clean because they'll be coming to live with me.
Exactly, because their money's gone.
their money's gone. They'll need a place to stay.
I like that.
So investment returns versus benefit increase. So maybe we should have started with this, but the if you full retirement age for most people is going to be 67 at this point. There's a few people that be maybe just
I think
shy
it's
of that.
1960 or later is full retirement age of 67.
So if you take it before 67, what happens?
You get it reduced. Yeah. Permanently, forever.
Significantly, so you get a smaller amount per month.
Yes, exactly. So if you take it as early as 62, it can reduce up to 30% of what you could get.
At 67.
Yeah.
And then what happens if you wait from 67 to 70?
Casey. Ha, ha,
I'm setting you up
Then
for the home run.
You can get an 8% bump for each year that you wait past your full retirement age up to age 70. And
plus inflation.
Yeah. Plus the COLA each year.
Yeah.
So, where else are you going to get 8%, Casey?
Guaranteed 8% plus inflation. So you're almost saying at least 10% increase each year at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
In the recent interest rate environment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, recent interest environment, you're closer to 15%
Oh, yeah.
increase.
It's huge. Yeah. So 8%
per year.
Yeah, per year.
So
plus
what some people say is I'm going to take it at age 62 for early retirees, but I don't really need it. And I'm going to take that money. I'm going to invest it. I'm going to take it and invest it. They see this, it's mine now. I'm going to invest it and I can make more than what the government can do.
Well, those are the fearful clients that don't trust the government.
Or do math.
We're really bad at math.
Right.
And want their money ASAP because they think it's going away.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be there tomorrow. So, hey, I'll take that 30% haircut. Just I want it now and I want to invest it myself.
We can come back to that. But I've had people come in with spreadsheets that are very faulty. But they say, I can invest this money and usually they use like a crazy rate of return higher than what the average is, like 10% or something like that. But the reality is, there's been studies on this and I was hoping I could find one for right before this podcast and it's buried in my email somewhere. It's from a few years ago, but they did the math. It's really boring. I actually read the whole 40 pages, but, I had to read it in segments because I was like, oh, they're losing me in the details. but the bottom line is, no, you really can't beat the overcoming the penalty. Plus, in most people who want to do that, especially if they're higher wage earners, because what they often say is, I don't really need it, so I can invest it. Well, that means it's going to get taxed. So you have to overcome the tax rate.
Tax burden.
So if you're in 22%, you're going to lose 22% plus at least another 30%. So now you're going to have to beat the government by 50%.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to do it.
You're not going to. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to buy. Now you're having to pick single stocks and hoping that you have 50 plus rate of return per year.
So your volatility.
So now your risk just went through the roof. So it just doesn't make any sense to doing that. Now, if you wait till 67 and say, okay, I'm going to not take the penalty for taking early, now at 67, you could still be paying income tax on at least 80% of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to compete with maybe an average of 10 to 12% rate of return. So you have to get better than a 10 to 12 per year for the next 3 years. And that doesn't seem really plausible either. Especially because they're not asking us to do it. They say they can do it themselves. Or the other one is, I'm going to just put it in a savings account at 5%. And that doesn't make sense either.
Well, no, 5% versus 8% right there.
8 plus inflation. So it's 8% plus the cost of living.
Yeah.
So right now, Social Security is going up around 3% per year.
Mm-hmm. Double digits.
Yeah.
Total.
So that doesn't really make sense either. So really it comes down to, if you don't need it, then just let it go to this max benefit at age 70. and you might need it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because think of it think beyond yourself. So if you're a husband who maybe in decades past was the highest wage earner, and then you're retiring, you take that money at 70, but you don't really need that money. Then you pass away at age 80, but your wife continues to live for another 12 years and she ends up in a nursing home, but you don't have nursing home insurance. That is a great base.
Oh yeah.
For nursing home or even just assisted living. You would more than pay for assisted living just by itself. So it's like an added, I don't want to say insurance policy, but it's an added higher pension that supports higher lifestyle down the road, because that pension is still going to increase with cost of living every year. Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, when
so when you pass away, the spouse, my point of all this is your spouse gets theirs or yours, whichever is higher.
Exactly.
So she now has, or he has, being on the situation, a higher base to apply. And so it helps out in old age.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot. And our software really loves that.
Oh, definitely. And the difference between that full retirement age benefit and the age 70 benefit, typically I've seen in most plans, is usually around $10,000 a year by waiting. So that's really impactful. I mean, that's in today's dollars.
Yes.
Once you start inflating that into the future, it just grows and grows. So that can make a real difference on clients' retirement income. So it really makes a difference to have that higher earning spouse wait to age 70.
And again, I think our premise in today's podcast is, hey, I don't need Social Security. If that's the case, then you want to delay it as long as you can, because you don't have to pay income tax on more income.
Oh, ding, ding.
Right.
That's another thing. If you don't need it, don't take it early if you're still working, because you're going to tax all those dollars
at a higher rate.
And you just don't need those dollars. So don't add them.
And if you do need Social Security, I think that you have to understand how you generate income in retirement. So most people, and we have so many podcasts about this, but most people think, I'm going to live off of Social Security and then I'm going to pull a little bit from somewhere else. And that's not how we look at it. We look at it as you have a Social Security option, you have a retirement plan or account option, and then inside that realm, you might have IRA and you might have Roth. Mm-hmm. And then some people have their own pensions. Some people have disability. I'm thinking like VA disability for military.
Yeah.
So you have all these different income options, and you have to optimize when to take which one. Mm-hmm. And that's what we have to use software for it, because it can get a little complicated, but it comes down to, we generate what's the maximum you can live on per month for the rest of your life, adjusted for inflation each year. Mm-hmm. We have two line items. One's healthcare. We increase it 5% per year. We increase living expense at 2% per year, or I'm sorry, 2.5% per year. And then if we delay Social Security to 70, it doesn't mean you're getting less money. It just means that you're getting money from a different source.
Absolutely. So those early retirement years, age 65, 66.
Right.
You're not going to have that Social Security income. So you're going to see bigger portfolio withdrawals. And so sometimes clients kind of panic when they see those first 2 years of that cash flow deficit that they need from their portfolio. But we make sure we highlight that and show them, like, hey, that's okay. It's a really big number, but that's all in the plan, because you can see then at full retirement age or age 70, when Social Security comes into the picture, those portfolio withdrawals really drop a lot. And that's all in the plan.
Right. And then actually go back up over time.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've had a really good 10 years in the market, even with 2022 and COVID and other things. And you look back at the people that were drawing down assets during that time period, like their assets were for everyday, millionaire next door, their $1 million portfolios are supposed to drop to around 600, 650. Mm-hmm. And they're nowhere near that. Oh, they've done a lot better than what we've modeled in the future. It's just, our modeling is so conservative too. I think the problem in all this is the lack of understanding of how Social Security works, which with no education creates conspiracy theories and fear.
Right. Well, there's still the whole fear that the system is going to implode too. I mean, we haven't addressed that elephant in the room. I mean, because that's the big fear of why people want to take it early too.
75% of Social Security is funded even in 2033 when the trust fund dries up. So 75% of your Social Security would still be there. The question is, what are they going to do with the remaining 25%? There's actually a website. Producer Hadley will add this to our show notes. But yeah, there's a calculator done by who's the in the government that does all the budgeting and all that stuff. Anyway, it's a foundation.
The budgeting office. Oh,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the name escapes me currently. Someone's yelling at us right now on the other side of the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. But basically, they have this calculator, and it shows you how you can solve Social Security. And what's interesting is if you go and you say everyone who pays into the system just is going to pay Social Security no matter how much they make, that solves most of it. And then you have to do some other things. Also, what's scary is means testing does solve it also.
Ooh.
That's not real.
Our clients don't want to hear that.
Our clients don't want to hear that. But there's a lot of unique ways that you can come up with on this calculator to solve the problem.
So means testing meaning you don't get it?
If you have assets above a certain level, you wouldn't be allowed to take it.
Do you just pay for everybody else's?
Yeah.
Because that's fair.
Yeah. I typically wealthy people, I don't think riot, but that might start one.
Follow me, folks.
Right. You pay into, because you remember when you pay into Social Security, you're not paying into an account that's just for you. You're paying for someone else's.
Problem.
You're paying. Well, that's how it all started, right? We had to start by doing the old age pension
fund. There's no fund.
Well, no, there's no fund. Well, there was a fund, but the fund wasn't your money. The fund was the overage.
Yeah.
And until the baby boomers have expired, we have not enough people in the system to pay for the people who are retired.
Yeah.
So it's at some point it flips back around. But there are ways to solve it. I just don't think any of them are politically popular.
That's the thing. Yes.
My thing is they're going to end up solving it in 2032 at midnight.
Yes.
On December 31st. And then they'll be the hero, even though it's a bad deal for some taxpayers.
Are you curious why annuities keep coming up as a potential investment option? People are often told that annuities can effectively mitigate investment risks and help secure their financial future. However, annuities often benefit the salesperson and might not be the best choice for you as a consumer. To learn more about the various types of annuities, the negatives of owning them, and better investment alternatives, we have a free ebook on our website just for you. To download our ebook, Buyer Beware, Why Do They Keep Trying to Sell You That Annuity? Simply click the link in the episode notes or visit wiserinvestor.com/guides. Now let's get back to the episode.
Well, half of seniors in America, it's their only source of income. So it's not going away.
No, it's not going to go away. If you, I've only driven this road one time, but there's like a road from like Pine Mountain, Georgia that goes all the way up to Rome. It's out right at the Alabama-Georgia line. That is the poorest section I've ever seen.
Why were you there?
Because my son played in a golf tournament in Callaway Gardens, and then he was going to Camp Windshape up in at Berry College. I don't know how old he was. He's 11. So this is probably 7 years ago. But we just finished the tournament and drove. I had to drop him off at camp.
Yeah.
And I was just looking around like, oh my gosh, this is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in our country.
And they're not getting 45 grand a year from Social Security.
No, they're not. But the first thing I thought in my mind was, this is why Social Security will never stop, because these people would be in food lines.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All over again. So if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you don't live in an environment like that.
No.
But to remember that you're probably a 5%er at least.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So most of the America is not as wealthy as you think. And when you live in Metro Atlanta area, you know, except for some areas, but the majority, you just think that you're the poorest person around sometimes. But most of our society is living paycheck to paycheck, payment to payment, right?
We don't live in the real world in Metro Atlanta.
Consumers.
Yeah.
and not savers. But anyway, it's such a political football because you have Democrats and Republicans. I can't remember who says what. I think Democrats accuse Republicans of canceling all these entitlements, and Republicans say we have too many entitlements. I think there are a few Republicans that have kind of hit on Social Security. I would say they're super disconnected from reality, and they're a minority.
Yeah.
But I don't know that anybody who's reasonable is trying to cancel Social Security.
No. Well, there was some bill out even a few weeks ago about raising the wage base to 200-some thousand. I mean,
yeah, which is reasonable, I think.
Why not?
Why does it stop at 160?
I don't know.
I mean, that seems pretty low to me. Honestly,
such an arbitrary number.
It is. Well, I think it's adjusted for inflation off of a number a long time ago,
from like 40 years ago or something.
I would say you probably should take it up to 400.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
like that's the highest tax bracket.
That's kind of their,
maybe even 600. I don't know.
That's kind of their litmus test anyway. If you make more than 400, you're uber wealthy, which is
according to the president. Yeah, you know, yes. Nothing will happen to taxpayers less than 400,000.
Doesn't the president make 400?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's that
so
simple.
He doesn't want.
Maybe it's that simple. I doubt anything's ever that simple, but it kind of makes you wonder.
I don't think that.
Why did they pick 400,000? That's really strange.
Interesting.
Congress doesn't make 400,000. They think they're around 250 or something like that. Maybe 3 now, but
I would love to see a congressman or woman.
You think
with
a president
only
of the United States, I mean, making at least
640.
$800,000 a year. You would think.
Yeah.
I mean, they pay for their own food. I mean, they do get free housing.
Free housing, yeah. But the last president just donated all of his salary.
Oh, we can't talk about that.
Okay.
I think for the first couple of weeks, reporters were saying, "Oh, he donated to this organization or this organization," and after first couple of weeks, the press didn't even cover it anymore.
I kind of like it being a volunteer position.
Yeah.
You know, there should be no compensation.
I don't know. Then does that make it only for the super rich to be running for office?
Well, you get free food and lodging. I mean,
no. They pay for their own food.
Oh, they do?
Mm-hmm. They have to pay. They get an invoice for the White House cafeteria.
Well, when you come out, I mean, you're thoroughly enriched.
Yeah, no, write one book and you're good. You're good for most of them.
So I feel like it's a proving ground, and then I don't know. That's
we
my
digress.
new thesis.
This is not
not Social Security.
This is not related to Social Security. Again, the point of the political comments, though, I think was around people use it as political football, especially these sites that try to get you to subscribe to their newsletter or to buy gold or buy silver, or even Bitcoin people who are selling Bitcoin for a high commission. You can just buy the ETF now and avoid all that. But the point is that they're using it to scare people, and they're using half truths. Yes. So some of the stuff they say sounds very reasonable, but then there's a whole component to it that doesn't make any sense. And that's the part that the layperson can't figure out on their own typically.
Yeah. So don't let fear delay your Social Security.
I feel like financial items like this is a lot like a really long time ago when they wouldn't allow people to read.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you can't read, you're ignorant, and you have to listen to the people that can read. And I think financial literacy has a lot to do with that too. If you don't understand math and numbers, then you can keep pulling the wool over people's eyes, and they'll keep buying $29.99 a month items, and they'll keep renting their furniture, just crazy stuff like that, right?
Is that why the tax code is so complex? And they're just trying to keep us in the dark?
Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily. That how you generate revenue, and I think the tax code gets complicated because you're trying to protect certain income classes from having too much of a burden, right? But certainly just the lack of financial education helps people make really dumb decisions.
Yeah. Exactly, especially like Social Security.
Yeah, I don't know
Firing it
why.
up.
Social Security has a lot of information on their website. I don't know why they don't encourage people to wait, other than the fact that if they wait, it's more money that the government has to pay out.
That's why.
Yeah, because if you live long enough, I call it beating the system, which people go, oh yes, I like to beat the system.
Yeah, the break even.
The break even. So typically it's around 78.
Yep.
So if you live to age 78, then you won. The government's paying you more money.
Winning for the rest of your life.
So one thing we should add here to our conversation to kind of wrap this up is health.
Oh, yeah.
So I think really the only thing that changes, because you don't know when you're going to die. There's been some terrible articles in AARP over the years in the magazine about when to take Social Security. But the assumption all comes down to when do you retire? I mean, when do you die? And no one knows that answer.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
So we assume age 95. So therefore all of our calculations are going to be very biased toward waiting as long as possible. But then we realize that. And so then we go back and calculate a break even. And if you're going to live to be at least 78, then it makes sense that you'd wait till 78.
Wait till 70. Yeah.
Because just after 8 years, you would be beating
with that higher benefit.
Yeah.
And then you leave your surviving spouse the
with
higher
more money.
Benefit. Yeah. And that's going to be so key.
Even if you were in poor health and you were the spouse with a higher benefit, it might be better waiting.
Yes.
To age 70. So you give the surviving spouse better opportunities, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Now,
Lock
if you're
it in.
both in poor health and no one's lived past 75, maybe we take it at full retirement age.
True.
But the case of taking it prior to full retirement age is really, really thin.
That's only if you get a terminal diagnosis and your days are literally numbered.
Yeah. Even then, why?
Why
would you take it? Because you're depending on what the spouse's situation is. You have to look at the whole thing. So there's just so many components. And also you can't read a magazine article, even just listen to this podcast and make your own decision. You need to have data or analytics done just on your situation.
Yours being a household, husband-wife decision.
Correct.
Yeah, never just a single person decision.
Correct.
That's key.
Correct. We have other episodes you might be interested in under show notes. Take a look there related to Social Security. Also, we have a YouTube channel, A Wiser Retirement. We just passed over 1,000 subscribers. Like and subscribe there. That really helps us. We have one we've linked, How Will Retiring Early Impact My Social Security Benefit? Common mistakes to avoid with Social Security spousal benefits. And then we have a blog we've linked, Social Security benefits for divorcees after 10 years of marriage. Get a little more advanced in our Social Security discussion there. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to a Wiser Retirement podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you don't miss any new episodes. We'd also appreciate if you could leave a rating and review. If you have any questions about anything that was discussed today, head to wiserinvestor.com and reach out.
This episode was produced by Edward Resendez.